Alright, so we're going to try something. This is a very hard build to pull off. Well, it's not hard. It's actually a very, very easy build to pull off, and it's very, very good. The hard part is this specific way that I'm trying to utilize it right now. Basically, this is just damage percent, Merris. Like, it's literally just damage percent, and you do it via high sork and channeling. So if we go to our tree, you can see we have currently 400% damage percent from gear. Now this is using some gear that is no longer obtainable. So like, for example, this helmet, you wouldn't be able to get it rolled this high because of the fact it comes from a earlier patch of Act 2. You've got some stuff that does rolls like this still, like this for example is current patch, this is current patch, this is a unique, this is current patch. It's like, it's usable. This isn't current patch, but you can get weapons that roll higher damage percent. I just don't have it for Merris right now. Like, I have a bow that dropped this patch for Loren, which is like 130% odd. But this has a lot of experience per second and also damage percent, so it's quite nice. So yeah, that gives us quite a lot. And then we're going to be leveling a bunch of casts via high sork, which is going to give us a bunch of damage percent as well. Because this is giving us damage per cast level, not cast damage per cast level, it's damage per cast level. So this will scale crazily. And then we have channel, which is also going to give us 80%. And then because we're gimping our cooldown reduction so much by taking so many casts and leveling them, we have to take Surge and Esoteric just so we actually are killing things. Throw in some cooldown reduction to offset this a tiny bit. It really doesn't matter. Honestly, this, I don't think it's even working still, actually. I should probably change it. Yeah, it's not actually working still, so we'll do this. There's nowhere else to really put it, though. It's kind of the unfortunate part. It's actually nowhere else to put it, which kind of sucks. Like, you could do this, but there's no point. We'll just put it in here. It's whatever. We'll just do 1 point in that. That's missing. We'll drop it into this. There we go. Wow, we changed a lot. Yeah, since that node doesn't do anything, like we have 0.1 negative regen, so we're using waste. We're trying to get some legendaries, which is going to take some RNG, and then our dice is sucking because of this, because we're having to use something like this. But, that being said, we need Crom, we need Mort, and we need Justice. Very regular trio on dealing dumb damage, because we need legendaries for this, unfortunately. So there's one of them, which is great. We're going to take Celestial Wings instantly. Now, if we, because we're attacking, we don't have channel on, so if we look, we have 415. If we stop attacking, go to 827%. Channel is crazy. So, we're abusing this, basically, to scale as much damage percent as possible. We need to be moving around as much as possible, killing stuff as much as possible, because we need levels, and we need to scale a bunch of casts. We are going to be utilizing blades, unfortunately, so it's going to be one-shot everything. Excellent, our second gold. This is getting very lucky. We don't care about the level, like, the rarity of our casts, but the idea now is to level them as fast as possible. Now that we actually have something, though, we shouldn't really be attacking. So we'll just keep moving like this, and move shrine to shrine, try and collect any damage percent shrines we see, get blades to kill stuff as we move, and hope for God of War. I really hope for God of War. Once we have God of War, pretty much the build starts, so banish out anything here, roll. It's actually funny that we just got all the gods that I mentioned without having to use alterations. Alright, so any cast, please. Come on, shield. We have 3 casts already. We can get 1 more. We're gonna make it Black Serpents. Now, we could throw on like a cast slot belt, for example, and again, extra cast, but the issue is experience. Like, you're not good. So if we made it so we had 7 cast slots, we'd have to get 70 levels to level every single cast, whilst also grabbing passives along the way, which just wouldn't happen. So for that reason, we're going to be trying to just do only 5. Some of these obviously do not level 10 times, like Divine Shield, for example. but it's much easier to get, say, level 45 or level 50 in a run compared to level 70. If we get in a piece early, we might be alright, but all in all, we will get some crazy percent. Like, the highest I got and I screenshot in the Discord was, I think, 9,600%. I'm basically recording my attempts now, trying to get to 10,000%. So I could try and get 10,000% damage, just because big number funny. We do not want to rarity it, we want to level it, so... Please. God of War. Excellent. Alright, cool. So the run's done. We basically now just need to level stuff. Look, we're already at 3,300. Like, the multiplicative scaling of damage percent in this is nuts. So, yeah. It's now just a game of move as much as we can, dash as much as we can to proc our casts via Esoteric, click any shrine that we see, try and hope for the love of God we find damage percent shrines, like the trees where it's saying stuff like while not attacking gain damage, because that scales along with channel and gives you some crazy values too. And yeah. Once we're at that point, we're pretty much happy. Alright, alter. Sudden Death is a cast, we'll click it. Now, this is a build that pretty much I could recommend to anyone. The thing with damage percent builds like this is, you're stacking a lot of casts anyway, so it's basically a cast build no matter what. But, since it's damage percent, you can kind of pivot it towards whatever you want. Like, you want it to be an attack build, well, damage percent affect attack. You want it to be a dash build, well, damage percent affects that. You want it to be a status build. Well, I've done that in the past, and yeah, I mean, Curse ends up doing a lot of damage that way. Like, it is a very good stat. Merris is, like, the only one, really, that can get it to these values. Like, I've had 2,000% on Avalon before, thanks to tectonic plating, but because of the way armor scales, it's hard to find lots of consistent armor sources, for example. So it's hard to really utilize... Well, nice. It's hard to really utilize tectonic plating to the same degree that it is High Sork. Am I saying nerf High Sork? 100%. But am I saying, like, buff tectonic plating? Not really. I think it's fine. It's intuitive, stack armor, gain damage. It's not very good if you let defensive stats give you damage generally, because then that you fall into the realm of becoming immortal whilst one-shotting everything, and we saw that with the Retribution builds in the past. So generally speaking, it's fine. If it gives you a minor amount of damage or a moderate amount of damage like it does, it's generally okay. It makes having to completely focus into them to give you lots of damage. Which is why I think High Sork is fine. It's just in this type of scenario where it becomes abusable. She's out. Roll. Stat. Roll. Stat. Roll. I know I'm skipping out on upgrading, but it's because we really need to get levels. More levels we get, the more damage we deal. Like, we're already at 4k. So this is also a build that's like completely RNG, right? Because shrines play a very big part in trying to get 10k damage percent. So does me having legacy items make it so it's like, if you want to look from a challenge perspective, make it so other people wouldn't be able to compete or get to the same values? No, because you could literally get like 1 or 2 shrines more than me and make up the extra tiny percent I have from gear, so it doesn't really matter too much. We saw this in the past with... Oh, I should not have clicked that. We saw that in the past with KFU, who hasn't been around for a while for things, but me and KFU in the past, or KFU and I, sorry, used to go back and forth trying to get the fastest amount of movement speed in the game. Which I had some, like, I played this game way too much. And still do play this game way too much. To the point where I had gear that no one really else had, because, I mean, I just played so much. So I shared my file with some people, so they could use my file to kind of do some of the challenge runs. But I ended up having relics, like, roll with very good amounts of luck and call-off, and KFU was, like, a tiny bit off in terms of the values. But even he managed to completely sweep me with movement speed percent in the past. Like, he got some crazy Shrine RG in Act 1. So, gear isn't the be-all end-all. There is a lot of RG involved in doing this stuff. Which is why some of these big gaps in me uploading videos kind of happens, because I'll be doing these challenge runs, trying to get like certain things like 10k damage percent and not be happy with the result, and just scrap the footage when I could have just uploaded it and kind of like used it as a yapping point. Also, yes, we are abusing blades for this. I should not have clicked that Beetle Shrine earlier to give me rarity upgrades. It's a bad force of habit when doing stuff like this. Because we just care for levels, not rarity upgrades. And now we're going to constantly keep getting rarity upgrade offers. To explain what's happening with blades here and why it's hitting so hard, basically blades work the same way experience works. So if there's too many on the screen, what will happen is they'll merge together to save like memory from your computer, so you don't end up just bottlenecking and lagging out everywhere. So that's why when well, we call the blades, so that's fine. That's why sometimes you'll see like a red gem. Oops, I need to actually kill the curse. I just realized he's still up. Alright, buddy. There we go. Can't click shrines if I'm stuck in a cage. Yeah, so that's why you'll see sometimes like red gems or like a glowing dot on your minimap that you should go and collect, etc. It's because what happens is when there's too many, they kind of form together, and then any new stuff that drops, like new experience that drops whilst that gem is active, will get added into that and accumulate all that experience into that one source. So when you pick it up, you get a massive influx of experience and levels. Same things happen with blades. As you're spawning more and more blades, if there's older ones present, what will happen is they'll merge into the oldest blade, adding all that damage together. So you'll end up with like one blade just absolutely nuking the screen. So this implements a little bit of gameplay where if you bounce blades off of like pillars and shrines and stuff, so they never truly touch you, they'll infinitely stay out. Now the devs are currently working on ways to circumvent this, because I brought up the issue of this in the past and how it trivializes the game, because people won't even realize they're doing it at first either. Like, just naturally playing, moving around like this, you could just be moving shrine to shrine and just so happen to have your blades constantly bouncing off pillars, soaking up new blades, and then you'll just one-shot something and be like, whoa, I did a lot of damage, not realizing it's actually just this one blades mechanic that you're kind of abusing without meaning to. Which is why blades is the strongest cast in the game. And then like landslide is like the second strongest, because blades will literally one-shot any enemy in the game without needing any help. So it's an unfortunate side effect that's pretty much new players might end up just accidentally killing a boss. Like, say they get to the gym for the first time with blades and then suddenly kill it, and they're like, yes, I finally beat the run. Props to them. Not going to take away their achievement. But then they go into the next run, not take blades, and get completely smoked and be like, well, what happened? I can't consistently do this. It kind of trivializes content. So it's definitely something that needs to be fixed. They've not quite landed on something that they're happy with yet, but it is something that they are trying to fix, thankfully. We're already at 5,000%. We're only halfway done with the run, or just under half. We need more cast levels, and we need more shrines, and we need them now. But yeah, they want this identity though to still exist. So basically, because of stuff like Blade Runner Skadi, they want it to be kind of a skill expression, where if you manage to avoid the blades, you get rewarded for doing so. But they don't want it to be something that you could just actively constantly ignore and just one-shot everything. Because, let's face it, these damage numbers, they're not right. Also, because they're hitting so hard like this doesn't mean it'll reflect correctly at the end of the screen. You can't actually do more damage than an enemy has in terms of HP. So if you hit something that has 1 health for 20 billion and then end the game, it will show 1 damage because you did 1 damage of effective damage. Which is unfortunate because I would love to see like true values at the end so I can get an idea of like how much is overcompensating. So like there, I just dodged those blades like intentionally, whereas most players would just run through them and collect them. But this is technically how you get the the largest hit in the game is just abuse blades like this, and then put on a tiny bit, and I mean a tiny bit of Ask crit, and just have one of those ticks crit, and then the values become funny as hell. We're gonna go area, because then technically our oldest blade is gonna be our biggest blade. Right. Okay, so we might not actually get anywhere near what we were before. It's kind of unfortunate. We just need to get lucky and suddenly see some of the damage percent shrines. There's quite a few damage percent shrines that can possibly show up. We're just not seeing them. But it's the big ones that you truly want to see. Gonna keep taking experience per second every time we can. Good speed. If you hybrid this with a Ball Lightning build, it could actually end up making Ball Lightning have the highest damage number present on a card. Which could be funny. Like, you see that damage value there, and then you hover over blades. Alright, so we are at 6,000, we click this, we go up to 8,200. Yes, that will be a way that we're going to have to try and get over the 10,000 mark, is by utilizing some of the external shrines, where they're only temporary buffs. Because they stack with each other, so that one plus this one, for example, now we're at 8,800. So we want to try and save one of those at some point, but it doesn't really matter right now because we need to move a lot more to actually get to what we need. That's ult. Blades. Pickup drops is fine. Constant. We also want to find the shrines that give us level up offers. A shrine for life on kill would actually be very nice, just to be safe. It's gonna suck if we get like 18 minutes with all this damage and then suddenly die to like elemental archers, which is a very real possibility. Some death. 8,800. That's without the 30% buff. We still have the 100% shrine on though. Take cooldown reduction wherever we can, because obviously we're gimping it so much. As much as we are just proccing it via dashing, which does use base cooldowns, we still want the natural casts to happen frequently too. Well, that slowdown is going to be annoying. Alright, cool. None of this matters. We could have technically taken just Slam Pandemonium here, overtaken a level. Like, this is technically more damage, but if we take a level, then it'll stop Warpack constantly again, upgrade offered, and that jazz. Take that. 7,000% without a shrine. It's getting there. Okay. Let's keep moving. Insect Queen. Insect Queen is dead. Not gonna bother looting because it wastes time. Sure. Try and zigzag as much as we can as we move. Picture yourself being in like the middle of a 9 square grid. You want to try and zigzag so that way you enter more of the squares of the grid as you're expanding it. That way you have more chance to see more shrines per minute. And this is true in like every build, not just doing what I'm doing right now. You want to kind of zigzag through the grid to try and increase your shrines per minute. Because if you're just moving in a straight line like this, for example, you're not seeing above you or below you, or even to like your corners. So we're only seeing like the shrines ahead of us now. Occasionally we might see a dot like pop in, but if we zigzag up and down like this and go through more of those squares, we're suddenly seeing a lot more shrines in comparison to before. We are at 7,700. Oh look, crit chance. Cool. Oh, why would you do this to me? I'm sorry, I have to screenshot that because that's just mean. Alright, just give me... No! That could have been it. Okay, if we had one cast level there, that would have been the 10k, and I could have been happy and never have to do this again. Oh, I'm so sad. Oh, okay. Okay. This game. It taunts me, though. It taunts me so. Surely we'll get it, right? Like, surely. We were so close to it. So close. I'm uploading this just because of that, though. That's so sad. Oh my god. More damage percent? Please. But I'm a nice person, okay? I am dying. Life on kill. Ow. I'm not zigzagging right now just because I'm trying to make sure I don't die. Cool. Cool. Oh, did I accidentally catch my blade? Did they reset? Oh no, I just saw it behind me. Level up offers. Yeah, it's still there. It's that big one that's overlapping. These damage percent shrines, where you at? $8,400. I'm pretty sure if we get a damage percent shrine now, like one of the 100 activatable ones, we hit it. Now, of course, someone's gonna say it. Just equip Carpet and run through the black flames at the end and go and, like, you know, find it and cheese it that way. I said it once, I'll say it again. I think that's cheesy. You should have to do it within the 20-minute time frame of a run. Anyone can pretty much equip like the carpet and just go and run for like 3 hours and find whatever you want. Challenges like this need to have some limitations. Oh my god, it's within grasp. Please just give me one of those shrines. Let me be done with this. Ah! Please. Please. We have 2 minutes to find a 100% Shrine of Power. Or any shrine at all. Alright, there's 3 shrines here. One's a well. What's that? Black Summons? Surely. It's it! We did it. Oh my lord, we did it. Look at that number. Hold on, I need to just tab out and quickly message this to someone. Excellent. Alright, I'll try to go a little bit more in depth with the gear and the talents and stuff at the end, just to kind of explain the thought process more clearly, just to kind of explain why it's reaching such values, because it might not seem intuitive just on the surface of things, or it might just be one of those things where it's like people are new to the game and don't quite understand how the math works to get to these values. So I'll do a little bit of like a TLDR explanation at the end of this. Let's yeah, we'll get there. Okay, caustic bombers suck, so $12,600. I mean, there's a way that we can get this further, in all honesty, but I don't know if we'll actually get there. We just like find a couple more shrines now. Like, these shrines are very powerful, right? These ones here are very powerful, but they don't go onto the damage percent, which is unfortunate. Oh, getting stuck in that was not the ideal move. Okay. Let's be very careful not to die right at the end on the Jin. That would be very unfortunate, so we'll do that. Oh my god, I just saw our health. 2 HP. Alright, well. We got to like 12,600. We didn't even get everything max. 10k unbuffed. That's pretty cool. Screenshot. Cool. And yeah, I mean, there you go. Look, blades and black serpents are like the only damage we had. It's a very simple build. We only got to level 40. If you manage to get extra levels, like the one last level in blades, one last level in device shield, it's a little bit more damage percent. The last 3 levels of black serpents, like, we didn't even max everything. Like, if this was into a cast, if this was in a cast, if this was in a cast, and like things like that, if this was in a cast, like, we would have had even more damage percent. And then a little bit better shrine RG, because we had a pretty bad spree of getting absolutely nothing. But a quick overview. So pretty much on the gear, you're just stacking the text damage percent as high as you can. We're equipping waste just to increase our masters a tiny bit, just to increase our odds of actually seeing God of War. Got legend offers on the ring with a damage percent roll as well. A tiny bit of legend offers, but this is mostly there for the damage percent. And then the boots, the gloves have a little bit of life regen to try and offset this a tiny bit. That way when we're running around collecting shrines and stuff, as you saw, I was clicking the health regen option every time. That's just to make sure we're not losing life to waste and just dying to attrition. And then on the boots, these are pretty crazy boots. 90% damage to elites. It's kind of irrelevant, really. Probably should have used a +1 dash charge boots, so we can use Surge more effectively, plus utilize Esoteric more. But nonetheless, it doesn't really matter. Dash distance is a great affix as well. And that's pretty much it for gear, is stacking master offers, legend offers, and damage percent, prioritizing damage percent where possible. And then for talents, it's kind of just the usual 4 in this corner here, which is some cast damage, dice to help us control the gods, a little bit of experience gain so we can actually level up experience pool area so we can keep moving and sucking shards as we go. Attunement doesn't really matter since it's not working, but there's honestly no better node to put it in this, I think. Bookworm, just so the books and stuff that you collect from the bookshelf, as you put them into your bookshelf back at the base, they're now going to start giving some cast damage. Channel is very important for the 80% buff it gives. This works like a Shrine of Power, so it's very, very big damage gain since it's a damage modifier. So it's plus 80%. High Sork is what we're building around. This is giving you damage, like the damage percent stat per cast level. This is how you get to crazy values. Esoteric, so since we're gimping our cast cooldown reduction with every level, they're not going to be proccing as frequently, but Esoteric goes by the base cooldown value of casts, so you have a 50% chance whenever you dash just to trigger one of those casts when they're relatively short cooldown. So this means stuff like Blades is going to trigger very frequently, things like Black Serpents will trigger very frequently, Divine Shield not so much because it's on a diminished return due to its effect. The legendaries don't trigger as often, and things like this. So that's why we're taking more, because it has 2 casts in her pool. We're taking Blades because Crom has God of War. And then we're taking Justice because she has technically 3 casts in her pool if you include the legendary, but we're not running a cast slot belt, so I don't include Day of Judgment since it's only a 1-pointer. Light Rays can go up to 10 levels, Divine Shield can go up to 5 levels. So one of those, whichever one turns up first, is pretty nice to grab. Divine Shield's nice for the defensive reasons. And then we just have basically Black Serpents and Blades kill everything for us. And then we have Surge, so we can spam our dash more frequently. So why is this so broken? Well, basically the way that damage scales and the way your damage is calculated in Death Must Die when it comes to these stats is very, very simple. Picture your sources of where you're getting the stat from as different buckets. So you have bucket A, bucket B, and bucket C. Your items are in bucket A. Your talents are in bucket B. And your in-run blessings and shrines are in bucket C. So what happens is bucket A is multiplied by bucket B, which is then multiplied by bucket C. So as we are sitting there stacking all this damage area on our gear, gaining blessings and shrines in the run, and also gaining it via talents, instead of being additive and only giving you minor amounts, they're actually multiplying together. So each 15% that we get here is actually 15% multiplied of our 415%. So the more and more we get, the bigger and bigger the number. And then because it's a talent that is multiplying, as we're gaining more and more damage percents from shrines in runs, the values are getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And this is why Merris does the most damage in the game. Like, in a single hit, Merris will do the most. And it makes her very, very good for that reason. This is how you build in Death Must Die. In any build, is you want to think about the 3 different sources and then try to maximize each source of that stat. So if you're doing a cast build, you'll do the exact same thing that I just mentioned, but you'll try to min-max cast damage in the same way. So you would add cast damage onto, say, your gear, and then you'll look for cast damage in your talents, and then you'll grab cast damage from shrines and blessings, etc. And then you'll grab good cast to go with it. You do the same with attack damage, etc, etc. You just want to focus on one thing and make that one thing as good as possible, and that's how you do big, big, funny, dummy damage as Merris, and any character. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.